Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fenix News Daily. So if you have just arrived here and you're a big fan of Donald Trump, you are not going to like this at all. So you might want to move on to redder pastures. But for the rest of you, hello, welcome. We're delighted to have you here. So this is going to be our first time trying out a live daily news show, and we're going to see how this goes. And if it goes well, we might start doing this more often. So let us know in the chat whether that's something that you would be into. Also, don't get too attached to anything because it may all change because we're experimenting. I am realizing at this particular moment that I have not opened up the chat window yet. So if you can hum quietly to yourself while I do that, isn't this fun that we're figuring this out together? Where is the dang chat window? There it is. We got it. Okay. Go ahead and send in some chats, and I will see them now. I have them here. It's very exciting. Here we go. There's some chats coming through. I see them. I see you. I hope you feel seen right now. Okay. So we have some stories that we are tracking for you today. So first up, we're going to talk about the latest on the House Speaker race, which you cannot say has been boring so far. Plus, we have an update on the 2024 presidential campaign. Who is bringing in the fat stacks and who is taking some water into their presidentially aspirational dinghy. Then we will go to the aforementioned chat that I do have open now because I'm a pro. So drop any questions or comments in there. Let's start out with this House Speaker race. So first of all, there was a vote on Jim Jordan for Speaker earlier today at 12 p.m. Eastern, and he didn't get it. He did have 200 votes, which is pretty good. He needs 217 to grab that gavel. So they have adjourned now, and he is trying to go and get some more votes. At this point, Jim Jordan seems to have no problem with dragging out multiple rounds of votes until he gets his way. He is like the honey badger of politics. He just don't care how bad this process makes his party look, so long as he gets to do a little gavel banging in the end. So we will see how that turns out. We'll check in on the latest news here now. We're checking now. We're checking in at the end of the show. There's going to be a lot of checking in on that story because it's the top story today, and that's what we cover. Now, it was rumored that some of his support was going to be contingent on support of a farm bill. And is it just me? Or does the farm bill just sound cute and quaint at this point? I mean, I feel like most of the legislation these days is either military aid packages or banning trans people from leaving the house. So a good old-fashioned farm bill? Oh, it sounds nice. Makes me long for simpler times, whenever those were. So no matter what has happened and is going to continue to happen today, the big winner is Democrats. It is a win-win day for them. You know, going through the same bajillion rounds of voting that happened when McCarthy became the speaker makes the GOP look more disorganized than a box of classified documents in a Mar-a-Lago bathroom. But if he does win, then Democrats can say, Republicans are extremists. Look at Trump, he's an extremist. Jim Jordan, House Speaker, also an extremist. We are the only sane, rational choice. Which, while true, completely ignores the fact that their main specialty is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Yes, we are also going to make fun of liberals too on this show. No one is safe. So we're going to keep an eye on that story. We'll let you know if there's any new developments. But in the meantime, let's move on to something extremely hot and incredibly sexy. Campaign finance reports. No, wait, don't log off. I promise. This is interesting. Campaign finance filings went through, and now we get to see how are things going for these campaigns based on how much money they have, how much money they've spent, how much money is headed their way, how much is going out to sea, curled up in a little bottle, a little cork in it. Campaign finance reports, hot, sexy stuff. Okay, first up, we've got Mike Pence, who has $1.2 million on hand, don't we all, and 600 grand worth of debt, meaning he's actually got about 600 grand left over for what could be a really killer pizza party. I think we can all agree that Mike is more toasted than a sub at Quiznos. So we are going to see when he actually drops out. He will not be getting that nomination. Second place in terms of fundraising for the GOP field for president is Ron DeSantis. But he has cut back on his spending because he's trying to show potential donors that he's not just wasting money willy-nilly. Ron, if you behave like that, people are going to start thinking you're a fiscal conservative. Unfortunately, he's still got $97 million on hand, which is a lot of money to set on fire and watch burn, because he is not going to get that nomination either. I think the only way that someone other than Trump at this point could get the nomination is if Trump keels over and dies, or he gets thrown into jail sometime within the next couple months. Otherwise, he's doing pretty well. Ugh, I hate when that happens. One person who is not doing well is Tim Scott. His campaign just cut most of its $40 million ad budget. His campaign, it seems to be in real trouble. He has not yet qualified for the next debate. And also, he is not white. It's really, really a problem for Republicans. You got the big man up at the top. Trump is outraising the entire rest of the GOP field 2-1. And I think I can join the entire nation in saying, we're really going to do this a second time, huh? Cool. Great. Love that. Now, there is some good news, if I may provide a light in the darkness, which is all that I want to do. At this point, Biden is outraising and outspending Trump. Well, actually, they're probably spending a similar amount of money, but Biden is spending it on ad spends, and Trump is spending all of his on lawyers. And if I can just give you one piece of life advice real quick, it would be this. Live your life in a way that doesn't necessitate an army of lawyers following you around at all times, you know? I'd rather spend my money on a really big boat than on a team of lawyers, and that's why I stopped robbing liquor stores. You're welcome. Now, he is not a presidential candidate yet, but he will lie and tell you that he is, and in fact, he already won, and he's been reelected. It is George Santos. Who is this guy? Where did he come from? Wow. God's gift to comedy. Campaign filings show that Santos is actually refunding more money than he is taking in because it seems like no one wants to donate to a guy that then steals their PIN number and goes on a shopping spree. So here's what I want everybody to do right after you finish watching this. Won't take too long. I'll have you out of here in a jiffy. After this, I want everybody to call their grandma. And I want you to warn grandma not to give money to scammers, because it may end up going to George Santos's campaign. I think that's the only way he's going to be able to get money at this point, is through some sort of weird robocall type situation. And finally, there is a man very near and dear to my little heart over here in Texas. It is Ted Cruz, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Congressman Colin Allred has outraised Ted Cruz by $2 million this year. Colin Allred I honestly don't know that much about him, but I would be willing to give him every last dime I can find. If I have to go back to robbing the liquor stores again, I will do that. Let's help Colin Allred beat Ted Cruz. Now, Cruz spent last weekend hanging out with fellow winning personality Liz Truss, and God help us all if the two of those people decide to team up. That would be a nightmare. We don't want that. All right, let me do a quick check and just see if there's any new news about Jim Jordan. See if there's another vote. There's going to be a vote, it sounds like, later on today. But it says here he has faced more resistance than expected in the first round. That's spicy. So by the end of this broadcast, we may not have an answer, but we will keep checking back. All right. So we're going to go to the chat here in just a minute. For some reason, there's the chat window. Okay, good. I lost it for a second. Again, I am a pro at this. It's my first time. Before we go to the chat, though, I'm going to have to hit y'all up for some money. Sorry, that's how this works. If you are digging this and you want us to do some more, or if you just want to say thanks, there are 3 ways to help us out. First of all, you can give us a few bucks on Ko-Fi, and we promise to use all the funds on beer, guaranteed. Secondly, there is our merch store where you can get sweet t-shirts like this one. Look at that. There are also hats, stickers, aprons, all kinds of stuff. So go shopping, get yourself some new threads. And finally, you can join our Patreon, which will get you free merch or free life advice from our writing staff, as well as a warm, fuzzy feeling in your heart. Those links are all in the description below. And thank you, everybody who has given so generously to our channel. Okay, now we're going to see what's happening in the chat. There are a lot of chats coming in. Let's start at the top. Let's not stop. Let's start. Okay. Austin says he voted for Dr. House. He's clearly the most qualified. Dr. House, though, never gets it right on the first try, so he has a lot in common with Jim Jordan and Kevin McCarthy. So, you know, maybe he is a good candidate. Australian, so that accent could be fun to have around. Well, let's look into it. Let's see here. Does the speaker get to pick their own entrance music? Yes, I believe Jim Jordan has picked Cream by the Wu-Tang Clan. No one is sure why, but it's not appropriate at all for him. Why haven't they voted for Grimace? He can succeed. You know what? At this point, I think everybody would love to rally around Grimace. Like, why not? Purple shakes for everybody. That is his platform. Luke, good to have you here. Yes, Luke, campaign funding. Luke, thank you so much. We're glad to have you here, buddy. Always good to see you. Kisses for you. Let's see. Do they have to categorize campaign funds by blood money versus straight up bribe? No. They tried to pass that law, but no one from either party would ever dream of voting it, because there is just a smidge, perhaps even a dollop of corruption in politics. Darndest thing. Cal is also here. Hi, darling. Good to see you. Hi. Let's see. They will elect his ghost or his prison roommate. I am assuming that refers to Donald Trump. And the electing his ghost, you know, there's no ghost clause in the Constitution yet. It's early. There could still be. So we'll have to see about that. Or his prison roommate. You know, having someone who knows how to shank people might actually make these House Speaker things go a lot faster. So not ruling it out. Let's see. Luke Davis, bless you too, darling. Santos is a Nigerian prince. He is also an Australian king and a court jester in Appalachia. He has a lot of jobs. He's a very versatile human being. No, we cannot put in a link for Santos donations because we do not fund evil. We only take in donations and use them for beer, as stated. Luke, you are in England. Thank you for tuning in from across the pond. I know it's a little bit late in the day there. What can you do to help? If you want to donate to Colin Allred, you can make life better for Texans, or if you just want to do like a fishing pole type situation and reel Liz Truss back over there, I think we have our hands full, and I think the last thing we need is a Liz Truss coming over here and trying to do stuff. Although last thing you need is her doing that over there. Where could we send Liz Truss? Luke, let's think about this. I heard Siberia might be lovely this time of year. Okay. Let's see. I'm interested in getting into politics. How can I become George Santos's next identity? I don't think that would be hard. Here's an idea. Here's a grift. Okay. Why don't you start a business, okay? It should be easy to throw together a website. You're going to start a business called fakeidentities.com, okay? And George Santos can go to you every time he needs a new identity. If he ends up having to flee this country to go to another country, wouldn't be the first time, he's going to need, you know, a new name, some passports, maybe even a nice backstory. If you don't just change identities willy-nilly, get yourself a little backstory, okay? Yeah, get one of those going. And I think you could call up George Santos and his campaign and just be like, yo, I have this business, what's up? And then, they just send you money. You use it to buy Fenix merch, everybody wins. Grandma, we leave grandma out of it. She's going to be great. Okay. Oh, okay, Luke, you work on American time. That's awesome. Okay. Well, congratulations on being a night owl over there then. Okay. Let me do one last check on this House Speaker race, and then we're going to wrap things up. Okay, let's see. See if anything interesting has happened here. Yep, nothing yet. They haven't had that second vote yet. So we are going to watch. We're going to wait. We're going to see what happens. Jim Jordan, I have a feeling, is going to elbow his way in there, teeth bared, and get in there. But if he gets elected, then, the government can unfreeze and then we can move on and then, his reign of terror can begin. But if not, and we get another 15 rounds of pure, delightful, uncut comedy, we will be here to tell you all about it. I am going to sign off now, but I appreciate all of you for joining in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Subscribe if you have not subscribed already. Turn on a little dingle bell if you want to get notified every time we post something, which is pretty often. We post at least a few shorts every day. We got a podcast on Thursdays called A Very Special Relationship with our friend Matt Johnston over in the UK, over where Luke is. And we have our Friday big show where we sum up all the news of the week. Today, we're just talking about what's going on today. So on Friday, we'll have a sum up of the whole week. There's some other wild news going on out there. The My Pillow guy has decided to represent himself in the Dominion trial, so I'm real excited about that. So stay tuned. Keep watching. Thank you. Love you so much. Bye-bye.